Hello, hello, it's Cap the Fire Tuna Club, and it's time for another doll repaint. I mean craft tutorial. Or do I mean miniature tutorial? YouTube, why are you making this so hard for me? Anyway, I said in the last video I'm gonna show you how I went about making Ranu's crown, so let's make it happen. You should be able to make this with things you already have around the house. Cardstock paper, a tape measure, a pencil or a pen, your model, or if you know what ratio you're working with, just keep that in mind, scissors. You don't need paint or crafting extras, but I'll get into later why if you have those, you'll probably want to use those too. And I will show you the method both by hand and using the printable I made. Alright, so let's get started. If you want to make a crown like Ranu's or something similar, you're going to want a 3-inch line drawn on a piece of paper. Depending on how many points you put on your crown, you're going to want to divide it evenly. For Ranu, I divided it evenly into 6 segments, as well as adding some additional length on the side where glue would be holding the crown together. I then made a template to trace around to make it easier to have mostly symmetrical tips. With the tracing and the cutting out, there was still an amount of human error, but unless you're really looking, you can't tell. In that extra area you gave for glue, dang it, I forgot to mention glue in the supply list. Someday I will get it all the first time around. You'll use glue your crown together and set it to dry. Once your crown's done drying, you'll want to go ahead and slap on a layer of green paint, and voila, you have Ranu's crown. I think this tutorial might be just a little too short. Let's spice it up. Since I've already done this once, going back at it and making it even better won't be hard. Let's make this a little easier for everybody all around. I've made a little grid that you can print off to help you design your own crown. Remember, cardstock. Yeah, I made my samples out of paper, but I like doing everything the hard way, apparently. The grid actually is a little bit better than the ruler. I made it in centimeters, which for miniatures is probably where you wanted to start out to begin with. Why I worked in inches, I don't know. I made it harder for myself the first time around, and the second time around. Why do I do this to myself? Anyway, here's me doing 3 sample crowns for you. Alright? Easy peasy. I made a little guideline of links you have if you're going to be using models. If you're going to be making a miniature crown with no model in mind, go to town and have fun with it. Before I run through with the speed draw on how I made these 3 templates, just keep in mind of 3 big rules. 1, don't hesitate to make mistakes. Number 2, yes, I made you a grid, but there are other tools out there if you need help to continue making your project. Remember, this grid is just helping you for measurements. Go to town with your creative ideas. And number 3, paint will cover the grid if you need it to. Otherwise, make the template with your grid and then trace it onto an appropriate piece of paper. Mostly because it's relevant for the last, air quotes, crown. I lost this piece and had to make it again. Also, in the interest of honesty and being real with you about the comings and going of my crafts, I can't draw a straight line to save my life, apparently even with the ruler sometimes. That's why scissors are so great. They'll cut straight unless you, decide you want to cut it with a curve. Once you've drawn and cut out your crown, you'll want to paint it if you need to. If you use the correct paper, woohoo! I tend to use what I've got, so I had to paint mine. The next step is to glue your crown. Keep in mind, I did this before I painted and after I painted, as I was making 3 samples. Based off your paint and your paper, choose which order is best for you and the ease of painting. Now, if you're making a proper crown, you can't forget the jewels. When I requested you to make this, I said jewels, not jewel. More jewels, peasant! Much better. Well, excuse me, princess. It's very easy to overdo it on the glue with these small gems. An easy way to wipe it away is a little bit of scrap paper. You rub it very carefully against the side, you shouldn't move the gem too much, and you'll get the glue to go away. And there you have it, a princess crown for Link and a power belt so that Zelda can save her. Not what I set out to make, but what happened? Did I keep talking about 3 samples? Just as proof that you don't have to follow this tutorial, and you can do whatever the heck you want, here is sample number 3. This video is getting long, so I'm going to try to keep it short. What you're going to want to do is cut pieces according to the sizes listed. Keep in mind, these are just guidelines, not rules. If you find a way to do it better or want to do it a different size, go for it. I put up a little sample of the grid template to show you exactly how I folded it. Basically, I folded in 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeter intervals and repeated that a lot. Once you've finished all your folding, you'll want to join both links together onto a base. That bottom piece is the piece I lost, and also the piece you can just substitute with tape depending on how you feel that day. There are bonuses for me to actually intentionally do tutorial videos. You'll actually get most of the steps. You'll get all the steps when I get better, and don't forget to press record. Does anyone see where I'm going with this yet? Here's a hint, it helps you hide rats. Now that you've glued the cylinder closed, you're going to want that extra part, the 20 centimeter by 2 centimeter piece. You'll glue it to the base as more structure and support for your crown. Or, if you weren't making the samples out of paper like I was, and you used cardstock like I suggested, you could probably get away with the 20 centimeter by 1 centimeter piece and just glue it on top. And just for some added support, I do glue all the little folds down to be safe. Time for that scrap paper. You'll want a piece big enough to trace around your cylinder. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm making yet, just hang on, I'm almost there. And you don't have to be perfect when you're tracing it, because you are going to cut way off of where you're going, crumple it up, and then glue it on. Yeah. All this extra sizing and crumpling and folding is the reason I don't give you an exact shape for the scrap paper. That being said, I also switched from tacky glue to Elmer's glue here at the last step for a specific reason. Elmer's glue really wets your paper, and I really wanted a more flexible, easier to fold paper. You can't really get that same paper wetness with tacky glue that you do with Elmer's glue because tacky glue is thicker. There's more PVA in it, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I do not know the sciences behind glues. I am still learning. So when I set about to make Ranu's paper crown tutorial, I utterly failed. I made a crown, a belt, and a chef's hat. I missed the mark there, but the whole point is creativity. So seriously, I hope this tutorial helped you. If you use it, let me know. I want to see what you make, what is in that brain of yours, what you come up with. Would be so awesome if you did. Share it in the comments. If you like the video, press that little like button. If you like my channel and you want me to keep making weird things like this, subscribe to the channel. The alert button will tell you when I make new videos, and I will see you all next time when I finish another project.